Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew and today we're doing a bit of a different video. As you can see in front of me, I've got a different setup, which I rearranged the room and hopefully it'll look better. I honestly do think this all looks a whole lot better. But right in front of me I have a bit of art supplies. That's because we are going to be making a MechaGodzilla Proton screen, which is what MechaGodzilla's beam is called. Now, for those that don't know, MechaGodzilla is a character in Godzilla vs. Kong that appears at the end of the movie he does show up a bit here and there in the movie, but he primarily appears in the ending scene where he bursts out of the mountain, kicks Godzilla's butt, and then Kong saves him, and then the two team up against MechaGodzilla, eventually defeating him. And throughout the movie, he uses a beam weapon called the Proton screen, which is basically his version of Godzilla's atomic breath or heat ray, depending on what you prefer to call it. And I'm specifically making the Proton screen because right here we have the Playmates MechaGodzilla, which, sorry for the low lighting, nothing I can really do unless I bring some lights in here, which I don't have at the moment, sadly. He looks great, but he doesn't come with a beam effect. And I know there's the Battle of MechaGodzilla, but I don't want to specifically buy that MG just to have a beam. And I also feel proud when the beam itself is from me. And this is actually my first time making a beam effect in years, so this is going to be a really fun ride. So to show you what materials I have toilet paper to cover up any mess, because this whole thing is not meant to be painted on, even though I'm probably going to paint this purple one day. I have some red acrylic paint, and I have some paint brushes, both to skewer inside the straw to hold it in place, and to also, paint on it, because that's what paintbrushes are meant for. So first you want to just kind of skewer that this in the hole, as you do, and then you want to just take your red paint. Also, I prefer you grab a red straw first. This is the closest thing I have to red, but sadly there's really nothing I could do about that. So you also want to get some paint, not too much. We're not adding like the thickest of layers here, and you just want to start like painting over it. Obviously it ain't like the thickest paint, so we're gonna spread it out evenly. Yeah, it is not working out too well, but that's the beauty of it, trial and error as we go. Also, I suggest you grab more layers of TP or just a flat out paint tray. Like, come on. I sadly don't have much art supplies at home, so this is all I have to work with. If I was in my art room at school, then I definitely would have more supplies to work with. Also, we're not doing like the thickest layer either, because like it's meant to be translucent. Because we'll talk about that later in just a bit. So just dip your brush in more. Get it really even. You don't want it like too clumped up in some areas. That's a big problem of some of my past beams. Either the hot glue or the paint was just globbed up too much in some areas, and that just was not fun to deal with afterwards. But hey, that's the thing. We learn through life, and we make mistakes, but we can always learn from them. And as long as people are accepting and willing to accept the fact that we can change, then we can change. So there we go. Not too much. Yeah, all I just really wanted was just a much more redder tint. So I think this would do for now. I'm not like overly trying to do this. So I think, am I fine with this? Yeah, it does look a bit splotchy in some areas, but this looks fine enough. So I'm going to cut back to when this is dried. And considering the fact that this is acrylic, it should dry rather fast. Okay, so unfortunately I wasn't able to record the last bit, but essentially what I did was next you had to get a hot glue and a hot glue stick, like hot glue stick and hot glue gun, and go to Haytown with this thing. Go up and down and side to side, well, mostly up and down. If you go side to side, you're gonna end up bunching it all together. If you do that, you'll get like a really nice clear beam pattern effect like this. And this honestly just looks so cool. There's a bit more webbing that I have to get rid of a bit. Yeah, like right here. So, yeah, unfortunately I wasn't able to record it given the fact that my camera's set up over here and the hot glue gun, the nearest plug is right over there on the other side of that room. So, unfortunately, that's a bit of a downer because I'm actually in my closet right now because that's where my workspace is now. Although I do have another workspace over there, but that's by my Chromebook and I don't want to screw that up. But yeah, this is my beam effect. It's still kind of cooling down, still kind of warm in some areas. I would suggest bunch it up more towards the end and try like going to Haytown there, especially because if you do that, you'll get like a really nice, cool impact effect. I tried doing that. It's a bit on the more awkward side, but it really bunches together and just can't wait to see what this looks like in full. All right, let's paint it now. Okay, so red is not the only color we're going to be painting with this thing. But first, you just want to get rid of all the nice little webby pieces, because hot glue is very webby. And I know that from experience, so we're going to be kind of going over this with a bit of a red. You don't want it too much, you want it nice and sporadic. Nice, like that. Yeah, get in like the nice cracks and crevices just so everything looks all... I'm going for more of a pink kind of style tone, which, you know what pink looks like, obviously, so unless you're colorblind, I guess. Because I know there's like certain colors colorblind people cannot see. Hence the whole term of colorblind, so... I forgot to move that little piece, but it's not a big deal. You can always just chop it off and repaint it then. You know, come to think of it, I probably should have skewered paintbrush into this, so I'm going to quickly do that right now. Come on, there you go. Don't want to be too fidgety with this. And away we go with painting again. Remember, be as sporadic as you possibly can, because later we're going to add another color to this, and it's going to look really, really cool. Because even though in the movie he had a spiral, I didn't want to attempt to do the spiral, because the last time I did a spiral, it turned out to be just complete garbage, so I just made being like this instead. Yeah, it's kind of blotched up in some areas, so I would suggest not doing that. Remember, be as sporadic as possible. It's very red, and that's kind of what we're going for. Although, again, we're going for more of a pink kind of color tone, and it's kind of working. Although I would just flat out use pink. It's like a fine line between a red hue and a pink color tone. And then for the red, for the base, we're going to completely douse this thing in red. Because remember, this is where all the impact is going. All the destruction, all the rage. MechaGodzilla's wrath. Not to mention MechaGodzilla, the Playmates figure is a very tall figure. Oh, piece of webbing. Let's see if I can get rid of that. There you go. Get rid of it. Wait. Can I get rid of it? There you go. Got rid of it. So, lots of paint. You want like a lot of paint over here. Honestly, this looks more like an intestine. Now that I really look at it, looks like something from Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's. You know what I'm talking about? All right, so I think this is good for now. Let's check back with the silver. Yeah, we're going silver. Okay, so it's all pretty much almost dried, but it's good enough for me to work with. So here we have our silver paint. So we're gonna lightly brush over the tops because we want to like highlight some of the more finer details. Okay, that's like okay, done. Ooh, but it is washed in with the reds. So if we like sporadically do it, then we can like repeatedly keep brushing it through, and then that'll work way better in our favor. Not to mention give it some more extra flair of the color. Yeah, I don't really plan these sort of things ahead. But as you can really see, if I just brush it like this will really add some good color to this. I'm very impressed with how this is turning out thus far. As long as I keep the consistency up, if that can stay, then I'm perfectly fine. Oh yeah, that's giving this some more flair to it. I'm honestly not impressed with the shape of it. I wish there was a bit more of a spiral, but honestly, I'm probably gonna add a spiral. Uh, Probably not with hot glue, rather clay if I can find some. I have some clay at my school. That's where I use some of my art supplies anyway. Crafting some really good stuff there too. I'll actually update you guys on my art pieces because I know I created a series for that, but it only has like one episode or so. I have the second episode done. It's just I never really got to it because I procrastinate. I'm kidding. Of course I procrastinate, but it's just mainly getting the other videos out before this one because that one's not really much of a priority. But I am aware that some of you guys are curious to figure out like what that's all about. Maybe that's a bit too silver. Oh no, that's perfectly fine. Okay, there it is. We're gonna mix in with some of the red paint and then kind of go to Haytown with the gray, and then we're gonna rewash this with some red. We're actually gonna mix the two colors because I really like how this is turning out. Okay, let's actually down a bit more red paint. Okay, it's probably leaking out. Yeah, it is. But I'll clean that up later. Remember, we're trying to find that nice, happy balance between red and silver because I really like that. And I think I might have just found it. Wow, I just realized I was completely missing the camera right there. Okay, how does that look? Oh yeah, this looks fantastic. Alright, you know what? I think I'm actually going to stop it here because I like how this is turning out. So, that's our beam effect.